Hobbs, Zane Anderson, Jordan Riley, and Haddon, are any of those season-ending regardless of how long you go?
Yeah, for sure, Kamal and Jordan Riley. I think we're still kind of going through. I haven't gotten a full update on the other guys, but those two guys are. I mean, those were pretty big injuries. So unfortunate for them and for our team.
With you guys locked into number 7, do you have any idea if you're gonna maybe hold out some guys to kind of point toward the wild card round?
I would say we've had some early discussions in regards to what route we're going to do, and I'll be able to update you guys later in the week. But nothing is, despite what has been reported potentially, nothing's been decided.
Do you take any of your past experiences in games like this, or you have something decided and use it to educate you now, or is each year?
Yeah, I think you're always leaning on past experiences, and certainly it was a tough lesson a year ago in regards to what we lost going into the wild card round. But yeah, absolutely, you lean into those, and then kind of the state of the team as well. So I think there's a lot of variables that get thrown into play. I know a lot of people have difference of opinions on what is the best route, and ultimately we got to make what the best decision is for us.
What do you think Malik Willis's status is going to be this week?
Yeah, I would think I think he'd be available.
So if so, how do you get him on the field? You talked about it last week about you have a franchise quarterback you want to play. If they're both playing, do you have to find a way to get a guy who's playing that way on the field?
I think everything's up for discussion.
It's hard to ignore the way that he is playing. Is there any consideration that he might give you a better chance to win right now than Jordan?
Yeah, I think, guys, I want to pump the brakes on all that stuff. I think Jordan Love is playing some pretty high-level football, and it's great that we feel the same about Malik in his ability to go in there and, I thought he's had 2 really back-to-back outstanding performances. So we're in a good spot with that position. Certainly have a lot of confidence in both of those guys, but it's pretty clear that Jordan is our franchise quarterback, and he is going to be when he is healthy, he's going to be our starter. So I just want to squash all that.
What is it about Jordan, especially playing at a high level, that gives you that better chance to win in your evaluation?
Well, I just think that his body of work throughout the course of 3 years, especially I think this season, I think he's taken his game to another level. So, and that's not to discount anything. Like I said, we got a lot of faith and confidence in Malik, and he's done a lot of great things. But that's a good problem when you have 2 guys that you're really confident in.
Hey Matt, you coached Derrick Henry. I think the year that you had him, he had a 238-yard game. Other than him being a Hall of Fame running back, why couldn't you guys defend him better?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that. Certainly, we got to coach our guys a lot better. There was way too many mistakes in regards to misalignments and misassignments. And when you do that against a good football team, you see the results. And that was what was probably the most disappointing thing after watching the tape, is just how many times we weren't playing the right technique or just in the right position to make a play. And then when we did have opportunities when we were in position, there were some moments where we played some really good run defense. But it was just too hit or miss. Stuff that we've been calling since the preseason, throughout camp, throughout the course of the season, that whether it's a check or just not getting the right adjustments, and you can't do that, especially knowing just what type of back we are playing. If you get this guy ahead of steam, he's a tough guy to bring down, and he proved that last night.
You also said last night that you wanted to hold off on saying anything until you watched the tape. Apparently JJ addressed the team after the game last night and said that he didn't feel like some guys left it all out on the field. Did you see that when you watched the tape? Is that the kind of accountability you want your guys demanding from each other? How do you kind of?
Yeah, I think we're all accountable to one another. Coaches to players, players to coaches, players to players, and we're all in it together. And there was definitely some moments last night where it wasn't up to the standard, and that hasn't been the case. I mean, I feel like when you look at the totality of the season, our defense has played with a certain style of play that you can kind of hang your hat on, and then there were certainly moments where it did not meet the standard.
How do you make sure that that serves as a wake-up call as opposed to a symptom of further problems that could present themselves?
Well, I think you have to first. It starts with acknowledging what happened, and our guys did that. We did that today. That's why I thought it was so important to have everybody back in today to kind of like, hey, the tape is the tape. There is no hiding from the tape. So what we put out there, it is what it is, and you better acknowledge it, own it, accept it, and learn from it.
So Matt, does the way that you guys played on defense yesterday impact how you want to play Sunday and going into the playoffs feeling like you've maybe turned that around, or does that not factor in Sunday?
I think I would say, Rob, everything factors in. So, again, we'll make the decision that we feel is best moving forward, regardless of anything, whether you rest certain individuals. I mean, you're kind of limited, especially our situation right now with the number of injuries that occurred. Guys are going to have to play ball, and so they better approach it as in such a way that they're getting their mind ready to go play ball.
You mentioned alignment issues and whatnot, run defense wise. This is easy for me to say it from the comfort of the media auditorium when I don't know what the hell's going on. But how does that happen in
I'm
week?
glad you admit that, Bill.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I don't know. But how does that happen in week 17?
Yeah, that's what was so baffling, I would say, is, just sitting in there with the defensive staff today and just that hasn't been a trend. That hasn't been something that has really happened throughout the course of the season. For it to show up in that game it was really bothersome.
Are you talking about pre-snap alignment? Are you talking about filling gaps after the ball is snapped?
All of the above. Guys not when we're calling a line stunt, you got some guys moving the right way, some guys going the wrong way. You got when you call certain fronts, if we expect a guy to line up over the center and be a zero technique, he's got to be a zero technique. He can't be a two technique or a shade. Like, you have to be. It's all intertwined. Everybody plays off one another, and so like when you don't do that, it just puts everybody at risk, and that's exactly what happened in the game. And you got to give Baltimore credit. I mean, they played hard. They played more physical than us, and they moved us. They moved us off the line of scrimmage. They controlled that game. I don't recall seeing a 300-yard rushing performance. I mean, that's tough. That doesn't happen very often in the National Football League. They ran the ball 55 times or whatever it was. So it wasn't up to the standard.
And when does Jordan get the next chance to go through the whatever stage he still needs to get through? Does that happen today? Is there anything?
No, it wouldn't happen today. So it'll be sometime this week.
Hey, man, I know you're going to say that everyone has to do more. You guys ran 76 defensive plays yesterday. JJ played 60. Van Ness played 47. Rashawn played 34. I know you said he's not a high snap count guy, but you don't have Parsons. He's supposed to be a star player for you. Do you need more from him?
I would say that we need more from everybody. So just the collective, everybody has got to raise their level and not even raise their level. They got to do their job. How about that? Everybody's, all 11 on the field, got to do their job. Nothing more, nothing less. And, that might have been some of the problems yesterday in regards to guys trying to make plays and do your job. Everybody does their job. We've got a chance.
Is there any kind of an injury situation or illness or anything with him that's been going on in the last couple of weeks that we don't know about? Or
No. I mean, all these guys are battling, soreness, fatigue. It's a long year, but It's not, I would say it's not anything that any team's not dealing with at this stage of the game.
Your receivers came out as a group yesterday. As a symbolic gesture, what do you think that says about the cohesiveness of that group and how they play for each other?
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool deal. And those guys are a tight-knit unit, and I think we have a lot of confidence in all those guys, obviously. I think it's just a great group they all give us a chance to make plays and move the football.
Do you know whose idea that was to come out collectively?
I do. I'd rather not. It was honestly, it was something that just how I view those guys. I feel like we have a lot of starters, so I threw it out there, and I didn't really get an opinion on it. We just kind of did it.
Now, you mentioned a couple times you guys aren't the biggest team in the middle of your defensive line, and then you added the two big guys, and now you lost one. Is Stackhouse someone who can help you? Is he one of those guys that if you can get him to, he's an undrafted rookie, so maybe that's part of it, but he's not a small man.
Yeah, he's going to have to, he'll be one of the guys that's going to have to fill the void. Absolutely.
I know you said a lot's still to be decided. Is it safe to say you're going to rest Josh Jacobs just to get him fresh for the playoffs?
I'll let you know as soon as we have those conversations, and certainly I'd like to talk with our players before I put anything out publicly.
How important is that, though? Because he said after the game yesterday it was the plan to have him be very limited. How important is it for you guys to get him back?
Yeah, it was. I would say, I don't know if it was the plan to be that limited, but I thought just the way the game was flowing, there weren't a lot of opportunities, number one. I don't even know, 40-some odd offensive plays, and it was one of those games where you could tell early on we tried to run the ball a couple times, and there wasn't a lot of space. So it was one of those games where I was like, all right, we're going to have to do something a little bit different than maybe we typically like to do, and you kind of just threw caution to the wind, and you let it rip.
I don't know if you know yet when you're playing Saturday, Sunday this week, but how do you handle the week since today is what, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Monday.
Sure. TBD. Everybody just be on notice, and we'll have a good plan for our guys, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Matt, I should have asked Malik this when he said it last night, but he said that he should have gotten checked out at halftime with his shoulder, and then he wouldn't have had a run off after he felt it when he had that kind of throw where he didn't step into it. Was he concerned that he had torn his rotator cuff or something? Do you know what kind of?
I think it was just the pain that he was dealing with. But I also think it speaks to just how tough the guy is, man. What a competitor. I felt even better about it after watching the tape. That QB draw that we had for him on 3rd and 9, and his just ability to maneuver through the mess and break a couple tackles, I thought was incredible. It was remarkable.
The throw that he got injured on, that's one of the more strong arm throws in this league, right? Opposite sideline.
Sure.
Did you know that he could make that throw?
Oh, yeah. We see it every day at practice.
No, I'm saying before he got here, in the Tennessee film, did he have that in his arsenal then?
Yeah, I think one of his strengths coming out in the draft was he's got a live arm. I mean, the guy it's pretty impressive, the power that he has behind his arm and how far he can throw the football. And yeah, he can make any throw on the planet. I put him up against anybody.
Can we go through the sequence, the 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1,
Sure.
where you didn't get it? So you go for the sneak, right?
Yeah.
Did they pinch down on the?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the moment, because we were on the ball, I almost called it off just because that's a big physical front. I still think that happens quite often in football. When an offense jumps the ball, every defense in the world knows what's coming 99% of the time. And that's where your fundamentals come into play, especially when you're going against a big front. You got to lower your pad level. And unfortunately for us, we got stoned on the line of scrimmage and didn't get any push. And then the 4th down play was one where, You know, obviously, we study every situation and try to design plays that give us the best chance for those situations. And that was one of the plays that we felt the most strongly about in regards to what they were going to do. They were actually playing a two-shell defense, so if you aren't able to gain a half a yard in a two-shell defense, it's going to be tough sledding. And we missed a run-through linebacker. All we have to do is get Josh to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to find a way to get a half a yard. I mean, I fully believe that, and so that was kind of the thought behind those.
From the backside have to pick up that linebacker, you know, it was Roquan Smith, right?
Yeah.
He was shooting right through the middle.
Yeah, we got to climb to him. So we didn't. We got too heavy on the shade. He looped across and was a free hitter in the hole.
You know your seating, locked into the road the entire way. What do you think of your team's performances as a whole on the road this year? You've had a bunch of wins in a row before the Chicago game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's the mindset anytime, any place, anywhere. You just got to be ready to play ball. And can it be more challenging on the road? Absolutely. But I think that's where your preparation comes into play, making sure you're dialed in, focused. You know, the communication can be a little bit of a problem, especially in a playoff type atmosphere. But our guys have been through that. So it's not something that's overly concerning to me as long as we put in the work.
You said it was important to have the guys in and that the tape doesn't lie. Was today like your toughest Monday-ish type day? And did you like I don't know how you would tell this, but did you like the look that you saw in these guys' eyes?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when you're coming off a loss, those are always tough days. But like the tape's the tape. We're gonna tell the truth. And like I told you guys earlier, everybody has to acknowledge it and accept it for what it is. And then you got to learn from it. And we can't allow ourselves we cannot put ourselves in that situation again. Otherwise, it's going to be the same song and dance. And so there is a lot to take away from it. Some good, some that was not so good. So
You had some shoddy tackling on the perimeter, and Bullard was not in the game a lot because they went in, you wanted to play base and your four-man front and stuff like that. Do you have to figure out a way to get him on the field in those situations because he's one of your better tacklers and tougher guys?
yeah, I think that's always up for discussion in regards to, we got three guys in the safety room that we got more than three guys, but in particular, the guys that would get the bulk of the snaps in regards to Evan, X, and Bull, you know, it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have when you have guys, but you want them on the grass, and sometimes that does get dictated by the personnel groupings that are being deployed against you, and they were in bigger personnel groupings, so to your point, Spoon went with a little bit more base.